it feels like I've been spending all my time focusing on the negative aspects of Pokemon Go. 7:05 Jimmy Baird here on News Radio 1140 WRB. I mean, I don't think I really have to spend any time talking about the positives. If you're into the game, then you're into the game. And 22 million Americans already are, which means it's the best-selling app of all time already, and it's only been available to you since last Thursday. So I can only imagine with all the hype how many more people are going to download it and try it. But let's face it. We are our own worst enemy when it comes to playing video games, especially games that allow us to go outside and walk around. We've already got our noses in our cell phones all the time. We're not paying attention. So we've got people getting into car accidents. We've got people who are not paying attention to the surroundings, who are getting robbed. And, you know, we don't have a tendency to blame ourselves when we do these things to ourselves. We have a tendency to blame manufacturers. So how long before we have our first lawsuit? Joe Cravens joins us, attorney at Cravens & Knoll. I would think the potential for lawsuits related to Pokemon Go are pretty high.
Well, Jimmy, I think there is at least some potential in the short term, but I think Donald Trump might need to think about selecting Pokemon as his running mate. With 22 million Americans playing the game right now, it may give him a little political jump. But seriously, the problem is the level of proof required to actually sue the manufacturers. The people who are most at risk are the actual persons playing, who are going to bad areas of towns and maybe getting robbed or raped or something of that nature. But the manufacturers themselves, you know, they have a legal duty to take care of their customers and a legal duty to provide a product that can be used and used safely. But I haven't been able to get my finger on the pulse well enough to know whether this is just a very short fad or if this is something that's going to stay in the marketplace and last for a significant period of time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
We've had these games before. There have been times when they talked about Call of Duty and various ones of the kill games that were on the videos that the young kids were playing. I think they talked about Klebold and those kids in Colorado that had been involved in some negative video game playing before they committed the murders out there. But this is a phenomenon that's really unseen in America in quite some time.
Well, you know what also makes this different, a little bit different too, Joe Cravens, is that this one you go outside to play. You're using Google Maps and you're going into areas that you might not be familiar with. You're not playing this within the comfort and the safety of your own home.
Well, and they place these icons sometimes out on private property. So individuals are going out not just into a public locale. They may be going onto someone's private property, someone's yard or farm or business in order to, you know, find the location that they need to get the next icon. Well, that creates an entirely new set of liability of its own, not to mention the people driving down the street trying to do this or walking down the street trying to do this and walking, you know, right into traffic or walking into people or walking themselves and falling in a ditch or a hole. And I mean, all of these things have happened because apparently the game is very engrossing. As I was thinking about this morning, the only really bad part of this is most lawyers generally have to become fairly, I wouldn't say expert, but very well versed in whatever subject they're trying to sue on. And I would pity the fellow that had to learn all of this about Pokemon in order to sue the manufacturer.
Well, the other thing you're dealing with here, of course, Joe Cravens, is also personal responsibility. I mean, how much of this goes to your responsibility to use a product safely and to know, for example, if you're trespassing onto somebody's private property, and to just have enough common sense, unlike the person in College Station, Texas, who parked their car in the middle of the street to go grab a character and end up getting rear-ended.
That's exactly it. And with all of these new emerging products and technologies, there are always going to be people that are idiots. I don't know a better word. There are going to be people that simply get so engrossed they lose context, they lose reality. And those people are vulnerable. But my thought is that where the manufacturers may most likely be liable is in the context of permitting people to place these icons and these target locations onto private property. That's something that the manufacturer could control by the app itself or by use of the app. Creating the product gets into First Amendment issues, and so that's where the manufacturers probably prevail. You're not going to stop the manufacturer on their ability to create a product, because any product, Motorola could be sued for that matter because it's a cell phone they're using. Microsoft or any of these other software technology companies, that's not the way they're going to be hit. The way they're going to be hit is the fact that there is an ability on the part of the manufacturer to prevent at least some of the potential liability by where they permit these icons to be placed.
Well said. All right. Well, yeah, it does make sense. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Joe Cravens, attorney at Cravens & Knoll, joining us here on News Radio 1140 WRVA.